Alright, so this week on Demon of the Week we are going to look at Bolbereth.
Welcome to my channel. You are entering the world of magic and mysticism with your host, Lee W. Johnson. Keep the lights on and help improve the channel by becoming a supporter for just $2.99 per month. Hit the join button.
Right then, Bolbereth. Let's get started with correspondences as usual. Colours: black and grey, incense, mandrake, Solomon's seal and mullein. Metal: copper, planet Saturn, element earth, direction north, and dates October 31st to November 2nd, so basically Samhain. Obviously the source I got this one from was written in the northern hemisphere, and therefore that's the dates of Samhain. And the N is Avaj Secore Onka Balbereth. Now there are specifically two main aspects of to Bolbereth itself, that being the Deamonolatry aspect of the Prince of Dying, and the older, I suppose we could say, Canaanite deity, which is related to covenants. So I'm going to speak specifically about those, starting with the Deamonolatry and then with the Canaanite deity aspect. There is possibly a third. A lot of people do relate Bolbereth with Berith from the Ars Goetia, but I don't specifically actually relate those. I do find them to be very different entities entirely. So I'm just going to only speak about the first two. If you do want to check up on Berith, just do a search on my channel. I did do Berith as it was part of the Ars Goetia. Okay, so let's have a look here. Starting with the Deamonolatry aspect, in the Dukant hierarchy, he forms part of the fifth family with Euonymus and Baba'el, and is listed as the Prince of Dying. From the complete book of Deamonolatry, Connolly says he guides the souls of the dead to the demonic plane, where they are reborn from the whole of the fifth element. He leads them to safe passage. He appears as someone the deceased remembers, who has also passed on. His true form is therefore a mystery. From Keys of a Cat, also Connolly. There's quite a bit to go through here, so I'm basically reading this direct from the book itself. It is a great book to go and get, the Keys of a Cat, and Honouring Death. Honouring Death or Honouring the Dead? The other necromantic book from Connolly. I would definitely go and get those two. They're definitely recommended. So from Keys of a Cat, Prince of Dying, rebirth and protection of the dead on their passage. Bolbereth can bring joy to the living after a loved one has passed. He is not as solid and calming as Euonymus. He is an excellent demon to work with for communication with the dead, as he'll gladly give magicians who prefer more active necromancy sessions the energy they need to facilitate that. To invoke Bolbereth, he must be approached after preparation on the part of the magician, seduced with the oration, and then directly confronted respectfully on bended knee if you seek to use the traditional method. Some may choose to lay prostrate before him, depending on their level of service to him. Priests of Bolbereth and funerary priests may choose this latter method of respect. Some, however, might find this too subservient or even grovelling, and should therefore simply kneel or speak to the demon on bended knee. Approaching Bolbereth with too much arrogance may result in having your feet pulled from beneath you, both literally and figuratively. Alright, so then in reference to Bolbereth being Canaanite deity, The name Balberith itself actually translates to Lord of the Covenant, which kind of highlights his association with agreements, treaties, and oaths among the Canaanite people. Let's see what I've got down here. Balberith's worship is most prominently recorded in the Hebrew Bible, specifically in the book of Judges. Here he is mentioned as the god of the Shechemites. In Judges chapter 3, verses 33 and 34, the Israelites during periods of apostasy are described as having turned away from Yahweh to worship Balberith. The two verses actually read, "No sooner had Gideon died than the Israelites again prostituted themselves to the Baals. They set up Balberith as their god and did not remember the Lord their God, who had rescued them from the hands of all their enemies on every side." Maybe there was a good reason for that. Continuing, as the Lord of the Covenant, Balberith was seen as a guardian of agreements and societal contracts. This role suggests his worship was integral to the social and political structures of Canaanite city-states, where covenants and oaths were foundational to maintaining order and allegiance. The worship of Balberith also reflects the polytheistic nature of Canaanite religion, where various aspects of life and nature were personified and venerated through different deities. His specific association with covenants might have involved rituals or offerings meant to invoke his blessing and ensure the integrity and fulfillment of oaths. In summary, Balberith was a deity whose worship in ancient Shechem underscores the critical role of religious figures in societal governance and the sanctity of covenants. His depiction in the Hebrew Bible serves as a historical touchpoint for the study of Canaanite religion and its influence on neighboring cultures. On the other hand, we also have the demonolatry aspect of Balberith being the Prince of Dying and therefore closely associated with the arts of necromancy. In this realm, the three figures that make up the fifth family and are usually invoked together would be Euronymous, Balberith, and Baba-El. The latter, Baba-El, we will speak about at a later stage. But whereas Euronymous is the demon of death itself, Balberith takes on more of the psychopompic aspect and the process of dying itself, the passage of the dead from this realm into the next. Baba-El, on the other hand, is the keeper of the graves and protector of cemeteries and things like that. So that is the aspect after the death process itself, and the one you would usually go to if you want to do cemetery work and things like that. Anyway, get into Baba-El a lot later, but that's it for Balberith. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that one, and I'll see you next time. Cheers for now. Bye bye.